What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode. Swipa Cam here. Just got done watching the Phoenix Suns and the Denver Nuggets. And I got to tell y'all, the Suns came away with a 4-point victory. But y'all, the Nuggets have not played Jokic, Murray, or Porter in the last two matches versus the Phoenix Suns. And the Suns today, when they played against a team with no starters, last game, I believe, Aaron Gordon played that game. Today, none of the starters played, and they lost by 4 points. They lost the last game by 7 points. Now, a lot can be said that obviously the Suns are the 4th seed. They're locked in. The Nuggets are the 1 seed. They're locked in. So what does this mean? Is this important? Is there anything you can take away from this game? Now, I will say that I do think that the Suns were playing at a level they felt like they could get by, and they did. But the Nuggets, I don't think that you can just throw away the fact that 2 games straight, that with Christian Brown and Peyton Watson and Zeke Naji getting heavy minutes, that they were able to put a real show together, and that they were able to lock in defensively down the stretch in some ways that I don't think people really pay attention to and appreciate. For instance, I don't know if y'all know this. I've been talking about these two quite often as of late, but Christian Brown and Peyton Watson have been incredible. They have been incredible. The way that they have been able to lock in and the way they've been able to play defense together is huge. Tonight, Christian Brown, 33 minutes, has 15 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists on 6 of 11 shooting. 2 of 5 from 3. He had 2 steals. He was a -9, but he had a lot of good defensive possessions today. Multiple times, Devin Booker was getting switched off of Christian Brown. Devin Booker tonight, Christian Brown's main assignment, had 15 points and 8 assists and 1 rebound. And he shot 3 of 12 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3, 8 of 8 from the free throw line. She shot 3 of 12 from the field, and Christian Brown was hounding him all over the court. He was following him in transition, getting over screens if they weren't switching. I mean, really incredible job from him today, man. Peyton Watson got another game, another chance to play, another start, played 26 minutes, had 3 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists, 1 of 6 from the field. He was a -6. Now, the funny thing is about Peyton is really good at transition. Peyton is a really good defender. Peyton is actually a decent rim protector. He didn't have any blocks tonight, but he contested multiple shots. Man, Peyton's ability to just maneuver and keep his hands out the breadbasket, he's really good that when he felt like Devin Booker or Chris Paul or Kevin Durant, when he felt like they were going to try to swing the ball and maybe catch his hands, he does a great job of keeping his hands out of the way to make sure that he can use his length and use his body to stay in front. You can tell he's just been coached up well throughout his career, and obviously the Nugget staff is doing a really good job of that as well. Now, again, his offensive game is very much under development. It is not what it needs to be yet. But I have to say, man, I think that the tools are there. I joked on Twitter that, if Peyton Watson like a 1997 version of Kobe Bryant, and obviously he's not. But it's just his athletic ability where you look and you're just like, huh. He's able to get to his spots very quickly. He's able to rise up very quickly. He's able to contest shots. I mean, Kevin Durant shot over him today, but it's Kevin Durant. You saw what he did to Steph Curry. You saw what he did to Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson, when he's able to just get out in space. I mean, the dude has true potential. I'm very impressed with what I've seen in the last 4 games. Very impressed. And he was operating in transition today, and he was playing as a playmaker, and he's playing as a play finisher. And even one time, he probably got a little too unselfish and passed the ball instead of just taking the layup that he should have taken. But he had a nice little spin move to the cup that ended up getting him a bucket. And again, he only had 3 points tonight, but his game on offense, he doesn't have a skill set yet to get to. He can hit your open 3-pointers. If he's on the corner, then he do catch and shoot. He's a good finisher around the rim, but he doesn't have like an in-between game where he can't get to his spots at will. But again, that stuff is development. If Peyton Watson makes it his business to develop that part of his game, then he really could be something special. Tonight, Bruce Brown, man, 38 minutes, 31 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists, 11 of 18 from the field, and 9 of 9 from the free throw line. 31, 6, and 4. 9 of 9, yeah, Bruce Brown, 9 of 9 from the free throw line, and he was a +5 tonight. Really big minutes from him. He was absolutely getting to the rack whenever he wanted. He was taking apart CP3, taking apart Okogie at times, taking apart Devin Booker, and he was attacking DeAndre Ayton relentlessly. And when he felt like he had a matchup advantage, he took it. And so really, really good game from him. You know, you like seeing him get that confidence with the Utah game and the Kings game left. You know, for him to be able to turn it up and get ready for the playoffs in that first round series, I think it's going to be really big. Reggie Jackson, 30 minutes tonight, had his best game as a Nugget, 20 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, 7 of 15 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. Now, he was even tonight. So Bruce Brown with a +5. Reggie Jackson was even tonight. Hit a bunch of really good mid-range shots. Those 2 3-pointers he hit were huge. DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre Ayton had 16, 5, and 2 tonight and 7 and 9. He was a +3. DeAndre Jordan had 12, 11, and 1 on 6 of 6 field goals. He was a -7. But he had a really good first half, really good third quarter, not as great in the fourth, but he's been getting all the minutes over Thomas Bryant. And Thomas Bryant hasn't been seeing the court at all, which goes to show you how bad Thomas Bryant has been, that DeAndre Jordan is taking up all the backup center minutes behind Zeke Nnaji, of course. So, you know, it's just interesting that the Nuggets were able to put out a lineup of Reggie Jackson, Bruce Brown, Christian Brown, Peyton Watson, and DeAndre Jordan. And they basically held serve with the Phoenix Suns all the way through almost the end of the game. And they were leading by 6 at one point as well. And off the bench, Ish Smith had 5 of 12 shooting, 23 minutes, 11 points, 3 rebounds, and 6 assists. He was a -3 tonight, hit some really big shots. Jeff Green, 22 minutes, 14 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. 4 of 7 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, 3 of 4 from the free throw line, +2. Really solid minutes. Blako Chanchar had 20 minutes, 2 points, 3 rebounds, 1 of 3 from the field. He was a -2 with 2 blocks and 2 steals. Zeke Nnaji, 17 minutes, 7 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 of 5 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, and he was an even tonight. Y'all, the Nuggets shot 53% from the field. They shot 35% from 3. The Suns shot 52% from the field and 47% from 3 on 36 attempts. The Nuggets were 19 of 23 at the free throw line for 83%. And then the Suns were 20 of 25 for 80. 12 turnovers to the Suns, 10. 24 assists to the Suns, 26. 38 rebounds and 9 offensive rebounds, and 33 rebounds and 7 offensive rebounds for the Suns. Nuggets had 2 blocks to 6 blocks for the Suns. 7 steals to 4 steals for the Suns, 19 personal fouls to 16 personal fouls for the Suns. So, yeah, man, it's not one of those things where the team would have full strength, obviously, so you can get a real takeaway of what a playoff series is like. But this is what I think the biggest development is. So you got Jamal Murray, 6'5", 6'4.5", KCP, 6'5", Michael Porter Jr., 6'10", Aaron Gordon, 6'8", Jokic, 6'11", 7 feet tall. And then off the bench, you got Bruce Brown, 6'4", Christian Brown, 6'5", Peyton Watson, 6'8", and then you got Jeff Green, 6'8", Blako, 6'8" to 9", and then Zeke Nnaji, 6'11", and then Thomas Bryant, and then Reggie Jackson, and then DeAndre Jordan. They just have a bunch of tall, rangy athletes that when they decide to lock in defensively, that's a heck of a unit to try to score on when everybody is so big. That's one of the advantages the Nuggets have over other teams, and they're going to have over the Suns, because the Suns are going to play CP3 at 6 foot, basically, Devin Booker at 6'4", or 6'5", rather. Josh Okogie, a small forward, at 6'4", and then Kevin Durant, who's 6'10", and then you obviously got DeAndre Ayton, who's 6'11". But they're small, but they're not big. And so a lot of this comes down to, can the Nuggets punish them on the interior and open up the shots for everyone else around them. Now, the thing about the Suns is their shot making is going to be incredible some nights. So can you withstand that by putting up points on the other side? And on top of that, can you make them shoot contested jumpers consistently? Because Kevin Durant got that little baseline. All they do is they do CP3 to the rack, to the rack, to the rack, DeAndre Ayton, and then Kevin Durant has space in the corner, and they just throw it over to Ayton. Like, in that little action right there, man, you know, if you try to trap on that short roll and Ayton is getting the ball, the wing is going to come up, and the wing comes up to step up on Ayton, and all of a sudden you got KD or Booker or Kogi, and it's like, man, please, you know, like, all right, Josh Okogie, anybody else. Kevin Durant hit a couple of those tonight. So the Nuggets, especially with them playing drop coverage, they're going to have to make CP3 get to that left hand as much as possible. You cannot go right. Jokic is going to have to work incredibly hard to make him go to the left. And then on top of that, right now, a lot of this tonight, the Phoenix Suns offense boiled down to CP3 threes. He was 7-11 from 3. That's the most he's made in a regular season game in his career. It took that for a 4-point win. So that's okay. So I think that the Nuggets have a clear defensive strategy. And I'm not going to lie to y'all. I think Peyton Watson might need some minutes in the playoffs. Now, again, you know, I think Michael Malone is doing some research now, because he subbed Peyton Watson out for Jeff Green to close the game. You know, some of that, obviously, the veteran presence, which I didn't love because, you know, Peyton was doing so well anyway. And I know he wasn't scoring, but, you know, he still was making such a big difference. But having an opportunity to have a 6'8" switchable wing like that, who's that intelligent, who's a decent rim protector for his position and good on ball, good off ball, I think it matters. And so for the fact that the Nuggets have so many options now, you can really mix and match with the lineups. Now, if you want to run Bruce Brown, Christian Brown, and Peyton Watson, I mean, that's 6'4", 6'6", and 6'8", and they're all athletes. And then you put that on the court with Zeke Nnaji, who's 6'11". I mean, that's a lot for a defense to deal with, for an offense to deal with. They have to try to score on that. And then if you put Jeff Green in there somewhere or Blacko Chanchar in there somewhere, that's 6'8" and 6'9". So what I think personally is that the Nuggets should end up being a team that blitzes you offensively with the starting unit and also can play really good clutch defense, and they can get quality stops. But then the bench, you need to be stops and runs, rotation, 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 miss shot, run. Get downhill to the basket. Bruce Brown special, pick and roll, get downhill to the basket. Pop shot, layup, Christian Brown, Peyton, whoever, Jeff Green cutting to the basket, try to get it done. I mean, for me, that should be the offense for the second unit. And the second unit needs to have a defensive rating where it's like Jokic and Murray and MPJ and Aaron Gordon and KCP are off the court. So we don't have to worry about the offense going crazy. But, man, they are really hard to score on because they play so well connected. So you almost want, like, an identity that fits in as a team, but you almost want, like, for me, like almost two different cultures. Or maybe not culture. And I don't even want to say identity, but two different strategies with the starting unit and with the bench. Because the starting unit, you're playing drop or you're hedging because of Jokic. But with the bench, with Ignacio, you're switching everything. Now that presents some rebounding issues. But again, there's ways to mitigate some of that. Because what they were doing is basically if Ignacio was getting switched out, when a big man would roll to the basket and it was going to be the guard that's on him now because of the switch, Blacko or Jeff Green or whoever would just end up coming and rotating and taking on the big. And then the guard would go back out onto the wing. And that really helps them. And so I do think there's a lot of options that Denver Nuggets have in front of them. But I'm so impressed with Peyton Watson and Christian Brown. I mean, Calvin Boots has absolutely hit the draft out of the park, y'all. So, man, it's going to be crazy, y'all. Man, I got some more stuff coming out for y'all, something crazy. By the way, I just did an episode for Bleacher Report. You can find it on my Twitter. I just did an episode of Bleacher Report. Some of you all are able to see that. I did an episode last week for Slam Magazine as well. You can find that on YouTube. Slam Magazine, Swipa Cam, Nikola Jokic, y'all. So, y'all, I'm telling you, man, the playoffs are almost here. We're about 9 days away from the playoff. 2 more regular season games, and then the play-in, and then it's here. And it's get up time. It's any up time. No more talking, no more discussing. It's time to go. I think the Denver Nuggets, man, I think they're going to make a lot of noise. Alex says that is the Jokic MVP call. The only way I see Jokic winning is that if he maintains the first place votes and Giannis and Embiid with the second place votes and the third place votes amongst themselves. That's the only way I see it happening. And And that's just because of the narrative, not because of the basketball. I mean, Shane Young, myself, Andy Bailey, you put out the graphs of like all the data that tracks for MVP candidates over the years. Jokic leads in basically every one of them. I think he's having the strongest year on totality, but Embiid's had the strongest March, if you want to say. And then the narrative that he hasn't won, Jokic took one of his last year, and then Jokic isn't a good defender, and then Jokic is stat padding. Voters were favoring Jokic because of analytics. And then he had 52 points versus the Celtics with no Robert Williams and no Jaylen Brown after losing to the Bucks by 20. But then it's just the narrative around the MVP award, even though he's had an incredible year. But I just don't think that, the numbers don't bear out that he's had a better season. So I do think that Jokic likely may not win it, but it's not because of basketball per se. It's driven because of the narrative. And again, he sat. I think this is Jokic's 12th game. They moved to 4-8 without Jokic this season. This is his 12th game missed this year, which is on purpose, obviously. Like, they've just been sitting in this 4th missed game in the last 5 games. So, we'll have to see y'all. Hey, Swipe again, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, let people know where you like to get your favorite content, y'all. I love y'all. Y'all my people. I will see